Dear friends, the topic I'm going to talk about today is auction. I'm sure many of you may have experienced auction either in your personal life, like playing around in a site like eBay, or in your career. I personally have experienced auction not only in my personal life, I have done a lot of bidding in eBay, but also in my professional life. And I must tell you, the experience is nerve wracking at certain point in time. So what I'm going to do today is tell you about different kinds of auction and what you as a buyer in the auction process should keep in your mind. The most common type of auction is the English auction. You must have seen it in movies or in different TV shows and all, um, particularly showing artwork selling, right? So there is a person who is going to raise a bid. There are people sitting in a room, they can raise the bid accordingly from the base price. And if no one is raising the price again in the countdown of, let's say, three, the person who has given the last bid wins the auction. Very simple type. I'm sure if you've seen some of the James Bond movie, you must have seen a couple of them in that action. And the next type of auction is the Japanese auction. Japanese auction goes completely in reverse. What happens in this type of auction is the final price is decided the maximum price by the seller. And think of this a room full of people in a manual auction. Everyone is raising their hand, which basically means that everyone is in the game and the countdown happens by the seller. So let's say it by a particular decremental value. Let's say the value is $1,000 and they're going to decrement by 10. Everyone is raising the hand for 1,000, which means everyone is in the game. It will decrement by 10. From 1,000 it comes down to 990. And if the people are still raising their hand, it will come down in a decrement of 10 until someone puts their hands down, which means that that person has won. A very tricky type of auction. It's very nerve wracking again because you need to know what the audience is doing and your fraction of time to react to it, right? And if you wanted it in a particular price but you're thinking that maybe no one will put their hands down, and you wait for your turn to go to bring the price down, and if you're not the one who put their hand down, you lose the bid. So that's Japanese auction for you. And the other very popular type of auction uses seal bid, which there's a pricing contract. Everyone puts their price in a sealed bid, and it goes to the seller, and seller will open it, and predominantly the one with the highest price will win the deal. There's a variation to the seal bid pricing as well, known as Vickery auction. Vickery auction is very interesting. It's just like the seal bid. You provide your bid without knowing the other people. You provide your best price. But what happens in a Vickery bid is you don't pay the amount if you have won, the amount that you have quoted, but the one next to you. So, in other words, you have to always strive to win, and the person who wins doesn't pay the price he has bid for, but for the one who is lower than him. There is a variation to the seal bid known as reverse auction, which is used in today's days using computers. In other words, think of this, the seller has got all the prospective bidders' price, and they will take the top three and they will run a reverse auction. What it basically means is that you will go on a computer system, and they will let you know the rank of yours. In the term of, in this case, there are three bidders. You'll know if you're ranked number one, which means the lowest bidder, or you're at rank number three. And if you're rank number three, you get certain time, let's say 15 minutes, 20 minutes to decide what you want to do. And if you reduce the price, the ticker goes up by a certain time again. If you're in the last minute, let's say 3 minutes, the other people may get a chance to reduce the price. Let's say you're at number three, and you want to win the bid. You know that you're number three. You don't know what price others have quoted, but then you can go ahead and provide your bid against it. And if that changes your rank to, let's say, rank number two, the one who has become three may again rebid, and the bid war continues until no one bids, and the game is stopped. There are various aspects to it. It could be going forever till no one bids, or sometimes in reverse auction they also limit it. Let's say after 10 turns they will stop it regardless of how much the prices come down to. That's a reverse auction for you. So these are the various different ways and means, and the auctions available to you. Now, if you see that different auction types have different kind of intensity. In the English auction, you have time, even if it is maybe fraction of seconds or maybe few seconds or sometimes to a minute. You have time to know what others have bid in an open room or in an open setup, and you can predominantly go and bid against it, or you can provide a lower price and you can keep the bid on until you want to. So from the intensity standpoint, English auction is the simplest, and you get some time to react to it. The Japanese auction is the most difficult one, because from intensity standpoint, because if you are thinking that price may go low and hence you have not put your hands down, if someone else has done, the bid is over and the bid is gone. In the Victory one, the auction, predominantly the control is under you. It's a very private kind of bidding. In that bidding, you should know what your price is for, or you can provide a higher price, knowing that you're not going to pay for the amount that you have bid for. If you recall, what I said in Victory is you pay the one which is next to you, or lower to you. And similarly, seal bid, again, you provide your option, and based upon if you are the highest bidder, or the lowest bidder in this case, you win the deal. And in reverse auction, again, you have time to react to. You know your position, you have time to react to and get it done. So the question comes, what should be a strategy? And then strategy depends on two things. One, are you a private collector? You desperately need it and you value it beyond anything else. Probably you can then pay any price, right? And that kind of calls out the game. So you are not looking for a value versus price. You're going to put a price that you want to win at any cost. But if you are in a competitive bidding situation, the dominant strategy is very simple. The dominant strategy is you should always, regardless of what bidding you're going for, you should always know what value you wanted, so that you have no regret, right? You're not buying something at a very expensive price and regretting it later. And in the time that you're reacting, you may have overbid and you're going to regret it later. Or for that instance, if you know your price, even if you've lost it, you know that that's not the price you want to get it, so you're always in a satisfactory zone. Similarly, if you want to bid for a reverse auction or a Victory, you know that what your limit is, and always bid for a dominant strategy if you are in a bidding war. Finally, I just want to leave you with one trivia. eBay, I'm sure some of you may have used that if you are in the US and used eBay in your life for reverse auction and bidding. eBay is based upon the Victory model, more or less like a Victory model. It uses the Victory model. You never pay what you're bidding for, but you have to bid to win. But when you win, you always pay the person who is next to his price with some incremental value, which is a little deviation from how the Victory model is done. But just for you to know, eBay is based on the Victory model. I hope you found it useful. Please always remember that from a buyer standpoint, you should always, if your dominant strategy is not a private collector, you should always bid for what is the real value you think the bid is for, and you should play your game accordingly. From a seller standpoint, you should be always worried about the quality of service. If the bid is going to one and service has to be provided back to you, not like an art collector where you're giving something and you're done. But if you are putting a bid to get a service out of that particular winner, beyond the price, you have to look at the other elements as well, needless to say. And those elements comes into play beyond the price to make sure you do not have the best price, but also the person or the team or the unity or the group who can deliver the services to you. Thank you again for listening. And if you do like, please provide a comment. If you know about other kind of bidding methodology, please provide your comment down in the comment box. And I look forward to hearing from you. Take care now. Bye.